Mr. Harmless here, and we're going to take the imposter test, or the practice test for the Chapter 3 information. This is all about transformations. So let's start with this first question here. It says, write the coordinates of the image P, -3, -4, reflected in the x-axis. So I'm going to graph it first. P, -3, -4. So I'm going to go back 3, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my original point P is where it's going to go. That's -3, -4. Now, reflecting it in the x-axis means I'm going to flip it over the x-axis. So I could just count up. Since it's below the x-axis 4 units, I can go up 4 units and place my P prime and then get those coordinates. The other way is when you reflect in the x-axis, the y changes signs. So this P, -3, -4, -3, -4 becomes -3, +4. That's the other way that we did this. So either way we go, we get the same thing. And so -3, +4 is the answer to number 1 on the practice test. Okay, let's do number 2. Number 2, graph triangle ABC with these vertices. So let's start by doing that. ABC, so point A is 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's point A. B, 3, -2, 1, 2, 3, down 2. B, and then C is -1, -1, so go back 1 and down 1, and there's point C. Okay. It says then graph the image of ABC reflected in the y-axis. So when we reflect something in the y-axis, I'm going to go to a green pen just for my reflection. Reflecting the y-axis means we flip it over the y-axis. This is the y-axis right here. Okay, so we're going to flip it over the y-axis. The other way we can do that, when you reflect in the y-axis, the x's all change signs. So I could say my new point A is -4, 4. My new point B is -3, -2. And my new point C is be +1, sorry, +1, -1. And so we just change the sign of the x is the other way to do that. Either way we go, we're going to get the same thing. So the C is now over here, C prime. The A prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's my A prime. And then the B prime, 3, 1, 2, 3, B prime. Okay, and so we can connect those dots. Reflected in the y-axis. Either way you go, we're going to write those coordinates. -4, 4, -3, -2, and 1, -1. And that's problem number 2. Okay, that's a -3. I don't know why my 3 looks so ugly. Number 3, rotation. QRS with these vertices. So notice they have the original graphed for you. QRS, this time it's already ready to go. You don't have to graph the original. But we're going to rotate it 270. Now, if you're not for sure how to do that, remember your notes. And I'm going to let you use those notes on the practice test. 270, we multiply the x by -1. So the x changes signs, and then they trade places. So the x, each one of these, the x is going to change signs, and then they trade places. So the q, -3, 7, becomes Q, be +3, but it goes to the back, 7 goes to the front. The R, the x changes sign, so it becomes a +1, but it goes to the back, the 4 goes to the front. And then the S, the -6, that's the x, so it changes signs, becomes a +6, the 2 goes to the front, and there's my 3 new points. So I could go ahead and just write those down real quick. We've got 7, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 6. It does want you to graph and label each point, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well. And again, I'm going to go with my green pen for the rotation. So 7, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3. There's Q prime. R prime, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then S, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, S prime. And let me grab a piece of patty paper. if my pen will write on this. I'm going to have to grab a pencil too. Notice as well, if I wanted to, let's see if this is right. Yeah, that does pretty good. If I rotate it 270, that's 3 turns. 1, 2, 3. Notice it ends up in that spot, right? Okay. It's problem number 3. Number 4. Draw a translation of the given figure along this vector 3, 2. If for any other geometry classes, they write it like this: x plus 3 and x plus or y plus 2. Okay, either way. So notice we already have the original graph again. This one is just, all I want to see is the graph that you did. So the x's, each of them go plus 3. Since I don't have the coordinates, I'm not going to necessarily do plus 3 and plus 2, but I can do, this is up 3 and right 2. So each one of these points we can go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then right 2. No, wait, I got the backwards. Right 3, up 2. I'm so sorry I said the backwards. The first one is the left or right. So right 3, up 2. 1, 2, 3, up 2. Let's do this point. 1, 2, 3, up 2. Let's do this point. 1, 2, 3, up 2. Ends up right where that one is. And then this one. 1, 2, 3, up 2. So this one, all I'm looking for is the graph that you did the graph correctly. Okay. All right, next one. Find the coordinates of m prime and m double prime for point M. So here's, we're going to do the original one in red. Negative 3, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's M. Now for this first one, let's grab my green one. 270. And again, if you forgot, 270 about the origin. X by negative 1, so the x changes signs and then they trade places. Okay? So the x changes signs. So m prime, the x changes signs, becomes a positive 3, and then they trade places. So it'd be 5, 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So there's m prime. Okay? Now we'll grab a blue pen here. Reflecting the x-axis means the y, right, changes signs. So m double prime, the x won't change, but the y will change signs. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 3. M double prime, 5, negative 3. And that's what we get for problem number 5. Okay. Number 6. Oh, they have the original here for us, A, B, C. Already ready to go. And so let's do our 180 rotation. 180 rotation says x and y by negative 1. So the x and y, they change signs, but they don't trade places this time. I did that really fast, sorry. So the A, actually I can just write them over here since it says answer. So it's the x and y both change signs. Negative 3, negative 7. Negative 3, negative 2, and negative 7, negative 4. So A prime, negative 3, 1, 2, 3, negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, A prime. B prime, 3, 2, negative 3, negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then C prime, negative 7, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we'll go with blue. Reflected in the y-axis means the x changes sign. So each one of these points, the y will stay the same, but the x is going to change. So negative 3, negative 7 becomes positive 3, negative 7. Negative 3, negative 2 becomes positive 3, negative 2. Negative 7, negative 4 becomes positive 7, negative 4. So the y's didn't change. Okay. Reflected in the y-axis, the x changes sign. So now we got 3, negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A double prime. B double prime 3. 1, 2, 3, negative 2. B double prime. And then C 7, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's problem number 6. Okay. Number 7. Identify and describe the transformation. So what happened here? Okay, so let's see what happened here. So I'm going to put a dot right there. I'm just going to draw this in. And let's see what happened here. So here's the original. Now, I think it's probably going to be a rotation because it's not facing the same direction. So I'm just going to try, see if it's a rotation, and it is. Okay. Now, if you wanted to see if it was a translation, you would slide it. Right? It doesn't slide right. If you want to see if it was a reflection, you flip it. That doesn't flip right. But the rotation, notice, gets it right onto, and says 90, one turn, a quarter of a turn right, like this, is a 90 degree. So this is a 90 degree. So identify and describe, so it's a rotation. And then we'd say 90 degrees, 90 degrees. And you don't have to write counterclockwise because we assume they're always counterclockwise. And that is the answer to problem number 7. Problem number 8. Identify and describe the transformation. So let's do this again here. There's my original. I'm going to draw the graph here. All right. Now this one I think is probably going to be a translation because I can slide it onto it. I don't have to flip it. I don't have to rotate it. I just slide it. Now we just got to figure out. So it's a translation. Oop, I'm down too close to the bottom. Translation. Now I need to count how many units I went. So to get over there, I went, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4 units right, 1 unit up. Okay, 4 units right, 1 unit up. So I don't care how you write this. You could say 4 right, 1 up, or you could go 4 right, 1 up. Or you could write x plus 4, y plus 1. Any one of these will work. This, or that. And that's the answer to problem number 8. Problem number 9. Sketch the line of symmetry. Hopefully you can tell real quickly this one. All you have to do, the only way that you can symmetrically divide this one is this way. So it flips over this line here. Same thing on this side as on this side. And this one I just want the image, and so see the image. So all I want is this one line. Now yours may have more than one line, or it may be facing a different direction, but that's all I'm wanting for this one. Number 10, does it have line symmetry? It's going to be yes, right? Because we could do the same thing, couldn't we? This way. We could also do this way. Okay? Now, you can't go diagonal on this one, and if you're not for sure, you can try it. Okay, so I could trace the image, right? And if I drew a diagonal and I flipped it diagonally, where the line, that diagonal still, notice it doesn't land right. I keep sliding it down here. It doesn't land right. Okay, if I flip it diagonally, if I go, oh, let's flip it and put that diagonal back, right back where it was, going across from corner to corner. Notice it doesn't end up to be the same thing on both sides. Okay. Almost done. Just a few questions left. Next one. Does it appear to have rotational symmetry? Grab my patty paper. I'm running out of room on my patty paper here. Let's trace it. Rotational symmetry. I want to put a little mark at the top. Oh, yep. 2, right? Okay. So now to get the degree, 1, 2, 3, a little bit off there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 turns to get it back to where we started. And you can go 360 divided by 8 gives us 45. That means for each turn, right, there's the center. All right, so the things I'm looking for the answer to this one, does it have rotational symmetry? Yes. If so, describe the degree, 45, of rotation that would map it onto itself, any version of 45 except for 360. Okay. Next one, what transformation is represented below? Let's see here. So it's not a slide. We could try flipping it. Flipping it doesn't work. I've been thinking that, right? But if I rotate it, it gets back onto itself. So which one is it? Rotation. Okay. All right, this one's a reflection, so we know it's going to be flipped. Where's the line? What's it flipping over? So it wouldn't be like this. And again, the way you do this is you trace that original. If you think it's flipped over a line like this, you'd literally flip it over that line. Notice it's up there. It's not where it's supposed to be. We know it's a reflection. It's got to be reflection because it says that. Where it's actually going to reflect over is a line like that. And notice if I take this and I reflect it over that line, right? There it is. So that's all I'm looking for with this one. A line going like this. This last question, there's a lot of ways you could do this. Basically, we're just saying, okay, if we start with triangle A, how can I get this triangle right there? Well, translation won't be enough, right? We can't just slide it. It's going to require a series. So more than one thing. How can I get this here? I could translate it over, and then I could do a reflection, right? That's one way we could do this. There's a lot of ways you could do this. You could rotate it, and then translate it. It just really depends on what you want to do. But it's supposed to be more than one thing, okay? More than one thing. I was a little bit off there. Let me do that again. So translation won't get it, right? Because it's not facing the right way. So it's got to be, I could do a reflection and then do a translation. Okay? Next, that's what I'm going to do. Reflect down. I'm not going to be picky. Translate right. Just a general, how would I do this? And I'll look at your directions. If it makes any sense at all to get that from there to there, I'll give it to you. All right, so we just did the entire practice test, imposter test for Chapter 3. I hope that this is going to be helpful for you and you'll be able to do well on the real test.